All right. So, hey guys, it's my pleasure today to introduce you to Dean Barrett. So, welcome,
Hey,
Dean.
that was a long time ago.
Yeah. Tell me, actually, give me a little background, a little bit about when you got into wheelchair sports, a little bit about your history there.
Well, see, I had a spinal cord injury in '79. You know what? I was thinking about that just the other day. Louis Bear um, was also into basketball, actually, and he's going to school at the time. And he came to the hospital while I was at UC Davis in Sacramento, and he introduced himself and he says, maybe you ought to come out and play basketball. I go, yeah, that sounds like fun. And so we started doing that. And then Gus Rojas was on the team. And he said, hey, why don't you come out and do the Sacramento Marathon? Well, let's see, I've been in a wheelchair for, I guess, about 4 months, 3 or 4 months at that point, but feeling pretty good. And of course, I was young. I was 23. And I said, yeah, well, what's it take to do that? Went over to Gus's house and he showed me his modified E&J racing wheelchair. And and I said, oh my God, what does that thing weigh? You know, because it had brackets all over it to get the balance right in camber and all that kind of stuff. And I talked with he and Lewis, and I said, I think we can build something better than that. And oh yeah, that was my first start of road racing.
What were some of your highlights?
I really got into it pretty serious. So I started doing the marathons and, the Boston, Orange Bowl and others. Was introduced to track and started doing track with Barbara Chambers. She was our coach. Got on the U.S. team in '79 and '80 to Amsterdam or Holland and Paralympics and Olympics for up to '84. Okay, I did well, but I got out kind of early. I figured it was kind of time I needed to get to work.
Oh, enough playing around with these wheelchairs and all this marathoning.
Yeah, and all that was fun, and I still did some of it, but it actually taught me a lot. The wheelchair sports, going out there and getting after it and finding out, wow, hey, I can do this, and confidence and just going after it. I said, oh, I can do this. So that's what it taught me.
We started working together December of 22. Okay, so only 6-7 months. Your health as you got older changed. Right? You slowed down a little bit. And so tell us a little bit about kind of that transition.
It's normal to add a pound or two every year as you get older. Well, boy, after sports, after I was really competitive and started working, that's exactly what happened. And so 30 years later, there I was, 40 pounds plus overweight. It was bad. I tried all kinds of stuff too.
What were some of the repercussions, added challenges that it added to your life?
Well, obviously, you just get out of shape, just cardiovascularly, strength-wise, and you're pushing that weight around. I don't know, where I live, it's not flat. Everything is either up or down here. And so that just kind of slowed me down quite a bit. The physical changes, well, I tell you, I started working with you, and I tell you, that plan works. There's no doubt about it. I lost 25 pounds pretty fast. I guess that took about 3.5 months to get 25 pounds off. And I still have about maybe 10 or so to go to reach my goal.
So tell me just a little bit about the life now that you are living and some of the blessings of your new reality.
I sure do sleep a lot better. Being in better shape makes me sleep better. Makes me feel better. I got 3 acres out here that I really enjoy being outside. Physically, I still get sore and everything, but man, I welcome soreness. That's a good muscle soreness. That feels good. I was able to do it, but it's just not as long, and I'd get sore quicker. That kind of thing. Stop earlier. That kind of thing. That's what it was.
So you still got out there, but you weren't as effective, and it maybe wasn't as enjoyable.
Yeah, I can be out here, 4 or 5 hours now. Just working, and I'm not a gym person. It's fine in the wintertime and the bad weather. The weather is bad or something like that. All that stuff goes aside. As soon as it's good weather outside, I'm outdoors doing activities.
Yeah, show us
being physical.
Show us a little, flip the camera around, show us a little bit of the beauty that you get to enjoy there.
Well, let's see, okay. Let's see, I can kind of work around here. I'm sitting on the quad right now. My chainsaw. I was working out a little earlier this morning. But I'll go up in the air here. Beautiful day here. I am in basically Colfax, California, north of Sacramento. This is out there behind the trees. I can't see it. But anyway, it's beautiful out here.
Yeah.
I love it.
Nice little playground. Well, and that's one of the main reasons I wanted to talk with you today was kind of the idea of, we think about maybe getting healthy or losing weight or something like that. And we think, well, it'd be nice to be smaller. And then the reality is, if the worth it factor is not high enough, the expense will be too great. And so this was an example of the things that people may not be aware of the worth it factor, because you now wake up in a body that's very different. And when you ask your body, can I do this? You get a lot more yeses than you used to get.
You know, I've really gotten a lot out of that Dr. Wayne Anderson's book. It is an excellent read. It's taking me from day one up to where I am today, and I'm still reading it. It'll probably take a year to run through that book all the way. Starting easy, learning that, hey, I can do that. That's easy. I can do one push-up or whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
But I tell you what, things I enjoy a lot more now is just my own, how I look. Like, I can take my shirt off now. I mean, in summertime, I wouldn't take my shirt off. That was bad. So I like looking better, and when you look better, you feel better, and everything just starts working, falling into place.
Yeah, it's so great. Do you have any words of wisdom for the folks that are going to be watching this?
A lot of it's in your head. You got to, I just got fed up after a while of trying different things, and it just didn't work. I mean, I'd go for like a couple of weeks, and it's like, ugh. And frankly, having you to talk to has made a huge difference. It's a great program anyway. You can't go wrong with it. I'm a personal believer in going into the realistic side, of once you get to where you want to be, is when it comes to the nutrition part, is dealing with real food, quality food, and getting rid of so much of the heavy carbohydrates, and sticking with the lean and green stuff that I've been doing. That's just a way of life now. It makes a huge difference. Oh, the other thing is, there's no point in putting it off, because it just gets harder. Might as well start now.
Yeah, it's not going to be easier next year, right? But the only thing is, the pain can be greater, and so maybe that gets your attention, and maybe as people listen to your story today, they'll go, what am I waiting for? It's not going to get any easier. It's only going to get harder. But even as challenging it is, you did it. It's totally doable.
And it wasn't hard. That's the thing. I seemed like I struggled initially, not program, but with other ones. But when I started with you, it just flowed and happened.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the benefit of having a proper structure with coaching, with partnership as you go through it, because those steps where the next step is an unknown, and you have a coach come in and go left. Okay. And you go left, and it's like, ooh, that was good. And that's really, and as Dean was talking about, I offer a nutritional intervention program, which has 3 phases. You have your first phase, which is kind of the nuts and bolts. It's like the basic training, if you will, but you don't stay in that weight loss eating plan long term. You transition to eating healthy for life plan. So most plans only have a weight loss program. They don't have an eating healthy program, or they'll only have an eating healthy program, and they won't have a weight loss element. And so you kind of need both depending on where you're at. But then Dean was talking about the life book, and that is the educational path that we take a little bit at a time, and you start to have these discoveries and these awakenings. And then of course I get to work with people all along the way. And so anyway, super great today. Thank you for celebrating your story.
It's worth it.
It's worth it. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
It's not hard, and it's obtainable.